What's up? This is Marquita Hudgens, and you are listening to the Voice Behind the Voice podcast. I'm sorry for those of you who are listening um, via any podcast outlet. It is staticky. The iPad that I usually use to record, just all of a sudden died today, and so I am using my iPhone, and for some reason, I don't know, maybe it's always staticky when I use this microphone. But yeah, it's a little staticky, but as long as you pay more attention to my voice and not the awkward silences that may occur, we'll be fine. Okay, so if you're watching this via YouTube, hey, I'm here again. Like, subscribe. I am here on YouTube at 11:30 Central Standard Time every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and on Anchor and other podcast outlets at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This is episode 41, and we are talking about communication. But first, I want to just invite you guys to the virtual Bible study that I am hosting on July 12th through the 23rd. It is Monday through Friday. It is 2 weeks long. It is fully online and it is fully free. If you go to any page on my website, www.mhudgens.me, you will be able to not only click and find out more information to register your child ages 5 through 12, but you will also be able to submit a video, like a 10-minute video, to my email that is beneficial to ages 5 through 12. So something that is like nutrition, like your favorite healthy snack, physical fitness, Pilates, yoga, some random facts about keeping your body fit, financial literacy, things about budgeting, anything like that, something that would benefit them for their future, because I believe the children are our future and we want to get them ready. We do not want to be a disservice to them. We don't want to be just judging them and criticizing them and making them feel small. We want to make them feel big and make them feel like by the time that they are 18, 19, they can be billionaires and they can be running the world. Okay? So there's that. And then I also have another podcast that is on my Dynamic Com for Kids account on like all platforms. It's Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube and on podcast outlets such as Anchor, Google, Apple, my website, mhudgens.me slash this is prayer pod. It's called The Prayerful Dynamic, and the community is called Dynamic Children's Outreach Ministry. That is what I do. I teach children. I have a passion for children. Since I was a child, I have been teaching children how to sing and teaching them about the Bible, and that is what I do. That is what makes me feel alive. You know what I mean? So, speaking of that, we have been talking about self-actualization, which is fulfilling the need to fulfill your full potential. When you start to acquire that need to find out what your full potential in life is and go for it, I feel like there's just a whole lot of things that need to take place first. And I call that self protocol. A major part of it is self protocol, and that is committing to your own values, setting your own standards, drawing your own boundaries. The last 3 weeks, I did a series on each of those, and now this week, my series is on communicating your limitations, expectations, and I've added for this Friday, your beliefs. Next week, I will be doing the respect series, which is basically showing respect all around for yourself and for other people. So here we are at communication. It's episode 41. And this week, I will be talking about communicating your limitations without seeming weak. communicating your expectations without seeming demanding, and communicating your beliefs without seeming judgmental. So today we're talking about limitations, and some people don't like to talk about what limits them because it makes them feel like they're weak, like they're going to come off as weak to the people who they're speaking to. First of all, if anybody makes you feel weak at all, you shouldn't be talking to them. You should be surrounding yourself with people who make you feel strong, who make you feel like you are a conqueror, who believe in you and let you know that they believe in you, and who even though they don't agree, who respect. We've been talking about respect. So they respect your boundaries and your standards and your values, and they respect you when you communicate your limitations and expectations. So, um, the theme of the week, every week seems to have a theme. It seems like every week has been having a theme. So the theme of this week, besides communicating, is if you don't, who will? And I want to say, if you can't be vulnerable to yourself, vulnerable enough to open up to yourself and find out what limits you, then how do you expect anyone else to be vulnerable to you and to open up to you? So we have to be the example. I think that was last week's theme, but still matters today in communication. You have to be the example, and it's like I'm always saying, if I don't, who will? Like if you catch me talking to myself, I'm going to tell you that if you can't talk to yourself, no one else will ever be able to talk to you. Because how if you don't know your own voice, how will you be able to determine whose voices line up, with your values? How are you going to know? And so I talk to myself pretty often. A lot of times, I'm talking to myself with a plan to eventually write what I'm saying down. Sometimes I have to just open my mouth and talk, and it doesn't matter who's listening. And my kids, they catch me all the time. Like my son, he'll like be walking past the bathroom and he'll see me like just talking to the mirror, and he'll be like, just walk away. Like if I knew that, well, now that I know, see, I'm now. Let me just note this revelation that if I'm talking to myself, that's probably the only time I'm left alone. So, because they think, I don't know what they think, but here we go. So, with the blah blah blah, we're talking about self protocol, and self protocol requires communication. You need to be able to communicate. So it really, you have to, we were talking about last week, separating yourself from others, like separating your opinions from other people's opinions, and separating your choices from other people's choices. And when you open yourself and become vulnerable to yourself, it's okay to make that division, like to commit to being vulnerable to yourself. Like, I want to be vulnerable to me so that I can figure out what my strengths are and what my weaknesses are. And just to be, I feel like vulnerable is another word for honest. I want to be so honest with myself, but then and very transparent with myself. And then one thing I'm learning on the other side of that dividing line, you don't have to be as transparent with everyone else. Everybody doesn't need to know your weaknesses. Everybody doesn't need to know, like, if someone asks you a question, you don't have to tell them A through Z. You can tell them A, D, and M. You know what I mean? You don't have to tell them every detail. Like, you do not have to be completely vulnerable to everyone. Like, but to yourself, that's key. And like I said, like, if you are not able to be vulnerable to yourself, like, I mean, who can you be vulnerable to? And how can other people be vulnerable to you? I don't think I'd be able to be vulnerable to some. I mean, let me tell you, my husband and I have come a long way, but in the beginning, um, we've come a long way. You know, our relationship is younger than our oldest child, but but we've come a lot. And I say that because I mean our marriage is, yeah, I said it wrong. Our marriage is younger than our oldest child, and who is very young. So I I say we come a long way, but we have, because it literally, during those rough years, it felt like forever. And um and you know, right now, it's, I feel like our marriage has come like a full 360, as well as both of us as individuals. However, there was a time where I found myself in this like constant situation where it was like, this man can't even be vulnerable to himself. Like, he can't even open up to himself. Like, he don't even know, like he was just all over the place. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure I was too, but from the outside looking in, from the inside looking in, I was good. Okay, but I'm pretty sure from the outside looking in, I was a mess as well. But 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 yeah. So if you, and that was like probably our main issue. Like, we were not able to be vulnerable to ourselves, and it took literally like this last, I'd say, year of starting to, um he had a little head start, but starting to get to know and spend more time with our fathers, his biological father and my father, who I guess people call it estranged. I did not grow up with my dad. This will actually be my first Father's Day being, I'll say, being in the same state with my dad in 30 years. Um, so like, it's, I mean, that's kind of a big deal for me. And then, I mean, my husband won't be with us, and my, so it's going to be a little rough for my kids. And his birthday's the next day, and my daughter every day is like, I want to make cupcakes for my dad, and it's just like, so it's a rough one. But yeah, by the time this airs, Father's Day will be long over. So I'll just say it like this: this past Father's Day was a beautiful Father's Day, despite the fact that we were not with my husband, and um, and it, I I am rejoicing because I've been able to be in the same vicinity as my biological father. Um, I've always acquired dads, spiritual dads, along the way, but my biological father, this will be the first time in 30 years. So that's it for this. Just remember, like, this, it's about you, okay? This is all about you. And if you don't, who will? You have to step up, and you have to start to envision your full potential, and how far your talents can get you. Like, you could be born with a talent, but it's not going to do anything for you if you bury it. Like, you have to multiply it. And when it comes to like real life like our kind of talents, not like how they use it as currency in the Bible, our real life, like, everyday talent, are buried if we're not using them. So the only way to multiply these talents is to practice, to make it a habit, make a goal of it. Like, with this, I really have plans on doing some amazing things next month, with my family, and my goal is to just have these videos like stacked on stacked. Obviously, I'm doing a pretty good job because, like, I'm talking about how Father's Day is coming up, and this is airing like a week after Father's Day. So I'm doing pretty good right now. But like, my goal is to really have a lot more done. Like, I'm ahead of schedule, but now I'm like, oh, if I could do this like this, I'm about to like really get it. Like, hopefully for the month of July, it will just be all recorded, and I'll be recording for August and September. That would be amazing, because if if all these things that start happening in my life with my family become overwhelming, I don't want this to fall short. So I am it's a practice. So every day I'm getting better and better and better at it is basically what I'm saying. So set some goals. I want to do 3 videos this day. I want to do 7 videos a week. Not all, maybe 4 on Monday and 3 on Thursday. Set it up. Set up your talents to where they have no choice but to grow, and they have no choice. And then we have talents that we wish we had or we don't even know we have yet. Set them up. Get in position for them to manifest. That has been my word for June, is to be my personal word, but you can take it too. To be in position, um, and that takes being vulnerable to yourself, getting into a position. You don't know what you're in position for. You don't know how much you being in position is going to benefit you, but just be in position out of faith. Just have that believe in yourself enough to be in position for the manifestation of the things that you've been praying for, the things that you have been speaking positively into your life. All right, so that's episode 41, communication, part 1, limitations without weakness. Just remember that you can be vulnerable enough to yourself to figure out what your limitations are. And when you're ready to communicate them, you do not have to communicate your weaknesses, just the limitations. Okay? So I will catch you guys in a couple days with episode 42. All right?